Hello everyone. All of us are witnessing how corona pandemic has troubled so many sectors globally. Today I am going to discuss about how Andhra Pradesh educational system dealing with the situation to save the academic year. To discuss all this, I have with me Mr. Venugopal Rao, who is the founder of Blossoms Planet School, Hyderabad. I have with me Mr. Koya Subbara, who is the founder and chairman of KITS Engineering College, Guntur. He is also joint secretary for State Engineering College Management Association. Mr. P. Ramesh Babu, who is the managing partner of FITZI International School, Vijayawada. Mr. E. Chaitanya, who is the co-founder of Geetanjali School, Tadepalli. Also with me, Mr. Ullam Seshgir Rao, advocate, High Court of Andhra Pradesh. And I have with me Dr. Makkena Achaya, who is the founder of Pragati Educational Institutions, Sattanapalli. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your valuable time. If I start asking the questions from the pre-primary and primary educational school founders, let me start with Chaitanya. Chaitanya, what do you have to talk about the present academic year which is affected by the corona pandemic? Is it turning out to be positive, or how are you looking at the situation?
Yeah, there are several issues to the pandemic. One major issue is education, and it is being disrupted heavily because we cannot expect the children to socially distance themselves and to take all the precautions, especially primary and children which are below certain age. So it has been a difficult step, I would say, but the online platforms and technology platforms have helped us in moving the education to the home for the child, and the adaptation by all the responsible individuals, the teachers, the parents, especially the students, have been very positive.
Well, I want to ask Mr. Venugopal, is it a big loss to the lower class students? If yes, in what way?
Yes, Ravi, it is definitely a very much loss to the students because of this pandemic situation. The knowledge point of view, the students has to lose much, except few students who are in primary education, and for other students in the knowledge point of view, it is a great loss. Of course, some students are attending online classes, but it cannot be the complete solution. It is a temporary solution, and just to pass on the academic year it may be useful, but the students may not get the proper knowledge.
Well, let me bring Dr. Makkena Achaya here, who has been associated with the academics from the past nearly 25 years. Dr. Makkena Achaya, in your experience, have you ever seen this kind of situation in any of the academic year? Is it leading towards so-called zero academic year?
Yeah, this year actually corona pandemic has affected the entire academic system, and most of the students are affected badly. But there is no necessity for the government to declare this academic year as zero academic year, because still time is there. Here and there reports are there that vaccination has come into market, and if it is given to all the people, and more particularly to the school going and college going students. But coming to pre-primary students, actually they need not forego this academic year, and if parents take proper care, so they can be given some curriculum at home with the help of the teaching staff at school from their respective schools, so that they can have promotion for the next level in the next academic year. They need not have zero academic year.
Mr. Chaitanya, what should be the parents' role in these difficult times? What kind of strategy that actually work to keep kids in the right direction?
Oh yeah, it's very essential actually, especially when you come to pre-primary. So the teacher is just approaching through a device, but the child is not developed enough in their mental capacities to absorb that information through the device. So it could be said that high schoolers and children which are above 7th and 8th standards can absorb some of it, but preschoolers are woefully underrepresented through this category. So the first and primary step would be making the parent as a teacher. So that's an essential step in learning and teaching pre-primary students, that we have to make the parent as the secondary teacher. So we are not going to teach the student, but we are going to teach the parent how to be a teacher. So that is the direction in which we need to work if you are working in this time and with pre-primary children. So we have to teach how a child learns language, how a child understands a sound, how to interact with the child when you have time. So this actually helps them in bringing up the child as a whole, because this absorption of teaching by the parent will help them to guide themselves how to be a better parent even when the kid grows up.
Making parent as a teacher, which actually work at this point of time. If I bring Mr. Ramesh here, what are upper primary and higher class students going through in the present scenario?
Right now, it's an unprecedented situation like what students, parents, and even academicians and managements are going through, especially in the education field. Almost all the fields could open up right after 3 months or 4 months period of time. But due to the very crucial factor of what not compromising on the safety of what children, which are our the precious future generations. So decisions could not be happened in education field to open up the campuses. But yeah, it's in a it's a vastly affected. But yeah, it has some pros and cons which taught us in this year also. But we feel like it's a wonder how even parents, students, and the entire the community of people could adapt so fast to a kind of online teaching, which we could not even think of maybe 6 months back or 1 year back. But now everyone is even immediately accustomed to the online teaching.
Mr. Subbarao, how was the government role after reopening the colleges? Were they up to the mark when it comes to taking the safety measurements of students to protect them from the virus? Since higher education students were in the first lot to going to the colleges after reopening the academic year.
I think a higher education system became somewhat late, but it was not affected, not totally affected. It was affected, but it will be repaired. In starting, the students are also afraid, and government is also had taken so much care. And nowadays also they are taking care because they are sending DMHO officers to the college. They are taking randomly 300 to 400 tests. And government has instructed us, if we find more than 5 cases, the college has to close for 7 to 8 days like that. But we are taking all the steps, and we are taking care of social distancing and mask and all the things. And they had conducted 2 times a test for every 15 days, and we didn't find any cases here itself. We appreciate the government steps for this corona time.
This is a very proactive measure from the government, which generally, I think especially in the month of October, they have taken a decision to open government schools and colleges, and giving permissions to what schools and colleges of private colleges also to open them by taking enough care. This is one of the biggest proactive measure taken by government, which saved the 0 year from going into 0 year. Government officials visited our school and they checked whether all safety measures were taken or not. Actually, we kept everything in place even though many students did not prefer in our campus, especially only 5% of students preferred offline education, but 95 to 97% students, they preferred only online education.
I want to bring in Mr. Seshgir Rao here. According to you, what kind of impact that corona has made to the academic year, and how did Andhra Pradesh state government dealt with the situation?
The pandemic is a prominent, put its evidence on calendar as a remarkable identity to this century. The educational department of the Andhra Pradesh, they took the maximum measures to reach the things to the doorsteps of the students and protected the year to some extent. And the government is also decided and announced to conduct the examinations for intermediate in the month of April. So the government take maximum precautions to protect the academic year for the benefit of the students. So all the families or the parents of the students must faith to the government in respect of it. Why? Because they have taken the decisions appropriately to face the pandemic and without any effect upon the students.
When the central government gives some direction, state government has to follow the direction. So in that case, the opening is postponed twice or thrice. So now there is every possibility for the governments to open education institutions. That is why all the high schools are opened very recently, and of course I hope that the primary schools also will be opened shortly after this Pongal vacation.
After lockdown from March, we've seen colleges were reopened almost in the month of October. So how was the situation initially? Were parents willing to send their kids for the physical education at the campus? And as a management, how did you guys dealt with the situation?
Generally, right, when we are dealing with the right kids, children, especially in education field, we prefer to set out the criteria as what first is the safety of the student is our topmost priority. Second is discipline of the student, and then third is academics, right? So generally we go in that order always, like what we try to maintain the safety as our top priority, then discipline, and then academics. So being in that order, right, what academics wise in the first 6 months, right, we could create right enough systems so that what there is no any loss of academics to students, right, through online education, classrooms, and then doubt clearance sessions, and then interaction sessions with professors, online interaction sessions with professors. So we try to take care of what each and every aspect of what learning of right academic learning of the student. But when, at the time when we got the opportunity to open in the month of October or what November for some classes, we still gave option to students basically, right, whether they are willing to come to the campus or not. We gave them complete information of what, right, these are the pros and these are the cons of right attending offline classes, and we conveyed them. Even we feel that what safety of the student is our topmost priority, unless and until we are sure and parent is sure that what a student is going to be safe in the campus. So we gave them option of what, right, staying for online class also. Majority of the parents, almost what 95-98% of the parents, they preferred online education. Very few, right, what they opted for offline due to technical issues and all that.
I also want to know what were the challenges faced by you guys when initially online education is being adopted to the higher class students during the lockdown period?
Major challenges were, first of all, the networking and connectivity issues was the first thing, and then slowly those things were sorted out. The classroom learning and then what conceptual learning and everything was going fine. The biggest challenge what we face is when students are solving assignments, like, and whenever they get doubts, right. So only thing is they have to wait for what 1 or 2 days to interact with teachers in online to clarify their doubts. The biggest challenge we faced is what the doubt clarification of students. But slowly we took care of it by providing additional classes and all that also.
What do you guys have to talk about the new education policy which the central government has brought to bring the reforms in the Indian education system? If I go with Mr. Archaya first.
Yes, national education policy, I have gone through the total pages, the policy. Policy is excellent one. So probably Andhra Pradesh is the first state to announce that it's going to implement national education policy from the next academic year. So the policy is very good. It will be helpful to the student community and as well as to the society as a whole.
Mr. Subbarao.
Yeah, the reforms is required because the education policy was constituted in the year 1985, I think, like that, because of the early 30-40 years back. The system in global education system is totally changing. We need some reforms, but the central government had taken the reforms and it is welcoming. And the education policy is also good because the colleges and universities is going to be autonomy and they will work with in autonomy way. And we will get the quality education and we'll curriculum we can design in quality way, and we will compete within global also.
It's going to change the future of what education in the next 30 to 40 years, and it is a welcoming and most what you can say, like, it is a needed reforms for our society, especially for India, because now we are transforming into what a developed country, right, from developing to developed country, and maybe our expectation is what in next 20-30 years India will lead the complete economy of the world. But now let us see, right, it is only in the form of what a policy, but it has to come up as a bill. But once it turns out to be a bill, it will be definitely advantage to students and parents.
Well, Honorable Education Minister Mr. Adimulap Suresh wants to implement English medium must in all government schools from the lower standards. According to him, that is going to be beneficiary for all poor people who cannot join their kids in the private schools spending much money. So in your perspective, is it going to be helpful? Are you guys welcoming it? If I go with Dr. Makkena Archaya first.
Presently, most of the private schools actually they follow English medium education right from the pre-primary. Why not government schools? Government schools also as well follow the same system curriculum, and some of the people actually they criticize that in case English medium is introduced in government schools, Telugu language, which is our mother tongue, is neglected. But it is not true. Even the students who are studying in private schools, when they study through English medium, they learn Telugu also, one of the important subjects. So the decision taken by the government of Andhra Pradesh to introduce English medium in all government schools is invited, and it is more useful and beneficial to the society as a whole.
Yeah, Mr. Subbarao, what do you have to say?
Yeah, it's useful to the students. The constitution says that in primary education, local language is mandatory, but it's a welcoming because when we are observing in engineering stream, the students who are behind the classes, the people came from the villages. So I am welcoming the English medium education.
Yeah, Mr. Seshgiri Rao, what do you have to say on this?
It is a very critical point of view. It is a war in between the justice and society, whereas the justice is as per constitution. As per the society, the English medium is needed. It is badly needed, no doubt about it. But here a little bit of clarity is the government has looked into the importance of the local language first and subsequently choose the English is the best option and best choice to develop the ability of the students to go through these two languages to opt.
Yeah, Chaitanya, how are you looking at it?
When we talk about English medium, one thing we do need to keep in mind, it's very essential that we keep this in mind, is the average child who is studying in a government school has no English background in home. So that pre-primary and primary children will be little difficult for them to get on with English, especially if they do not have any guidance at home to guide them in that direction. So that language will be foreign to them. So we need to take adequate steps. I would say in first and foremost will be in teacher training. That the teacher is appropriately taught how to deal with the children who is underprivileged in English and to bring them up to speed with other children around, especially government schools. So once that is done, and the next step would be to train the staff in adequately changing from Telugu medium to English medium, because there are several technical aspects to this, be it math, be it science, be it social, and there are several words which are completely not new to them. So that has to be appropriate, because you can't change the teachers all of a sudden. We have to keep them same, but we have to train them up and we have to go in that direction. Going in that direction is good, but we need to have appropriate steps and take appropriate actions so that will result in something much beneficial to the child.
I want to understand from you guys that government is planning to promote all the students even with the basic attendance and less marks to save them from the zero academic year. In these conditions, if they get promoted to the higher standards, what kind of impact will be there in the next academic year, Mr. Subbarao?
When we are observing the admissions also, some of the students who promoted because they failed nearly 5 to 6 subjects in an intermediate, but they are promoted. But they will not be cope up here because engineering education is not that much easy. Student has to put some efforts there, but we can't say they won't improve, but there should be some work for us, because we have to build their subject, whatever they lost in intermediate sector. That thing will continue for 2-3 years also, because this whole year, last year and this year is affected. The students' knowledge, they will not get that much knowledge in next level classes, because if it's in 10th, in intermediate we have to improve. If they are in 9th, in 10th we have to improve. If they are in intermediate, we have to improve in engineering, because we have to take some steps and we have to improve their knowledge, whatever they lost in the last years.
Mr. Ramesh, what are the advantages and disadvantages when students get promoted to the higher classes with the basic standards?
There is some disadvantage, but overall if there is no possibility of conducting an examination at the end of the year, we are bound to write what? It is good to promote them to the next year. See, what happens is every student and every parent, by the time they reach what? 6 to 7 months of 10th class education, they have their self-assessment, where I can be in what? The intermediate, and where I can be in what? Next engineering or medical or some other field. So they have their own self-assessment. Even if we are not giving grading, I don't think anyone is going to join on what? Somewhere which definitely they feel that what it is not suitable for them, right? There may be some 5% right what cases, right? It may go in that way, but 95% it is going to be fine.
Well, if I want to understand from the school management perspective, how are you guys managing the financial part? Especially those who doesn't have own buildings, infrastructure, they have to pay rents, then they have to pay salaries to the staff and running costs, etc. So how difficult times are you guys facing? If I go with Mr. Venugopal first.
Yes, most of the private school managements, especially the small schools, are facing a lot of financial problems because of this pandemic situation. Of course, the teachers are cooperating, the building owners are also cooperating. They are ready to reduce their rents, and the teachers are ready to reduce their salaries. Out of the 100 students, 50 students are not attending for online classes. That means what? 50% of the revenue has come down. And in the remaining 50% students also, their parents are not able to pay the complete fees. They are asking, these are online classes only and you charge only 50% like that. So if the management agree for that, so for the 50% children and paying 50% fees means what? Totally we are getting 25% revenue only in total. So drastically from 100 to 25% if it is reduced, it is a very challenging task for any school management.
Yeah, Dr. Achaya, if I ask you the same question.
As this lockdown started in the third week of March, so most of the people did not pay fee, and we also actually suffered a lot since then. So more particularly the teachers who worked in our schools, they did not have proper salaries from us because we did not have money from the parents. So for the last 10 months, our teachers, and of course we also suffered a lot. So we could not pay rents, electricity bills, salaries properly, and of course we also borrowed some amounts to run the organization smooth, so that we could not repay in time. So all these things so far, and moreover government has given Amavadi, I mean a financial support to the parents. So most of the parents actually they promised to the school management that they would pay fees after getting Amavadi program from the government. And subsequently after vacation, they gave the information that they had spent for the festival, and they will pay when they receive income from the agricultural produce. So like that, last year all the private schools affected mostly financially.
Mr. Subbarao, according to you, how are the schools and colleges management dealing with the financial aspect?
Everybody is looking that the school management is very good and they are earning money. Like that they are assuming. But those schools who are running in rural areas and some villages and small towns, they are unable to run the system now. They are in suffering because they are unable to pay their rents and they are unable to pay the salaries also. And the school faculty also not good now because they are not getting salary and their lifestyle is also not good now. My assumption is government has to take some steps and give some support to the schools, lower level schools. That means those who are unable to run the schools this year, because they are producing good students every year.
Some of the correspondents of private schools, I know that 30 of the correspondents and principals of private schools, so they were dead during the last 10 months. And very few out of all the 30 correspondents, very few of them, they were dead because of this virus, and more than 25 correspondents, they were dead due to financial crisis because of this pandemic. So in that case, the government should support, government should extend some financial help to the managements of private schools as well as to the teachers who are working in private schools.
That's really sad part to hear. Certainly, government helping hand can be a big relief to those teachers and school management who died during the pandemic time. Well, let me bring Chaitanya here. Chaitanya, what kind of modification should bring in the pre-primary education going forward?
So, well, there are certain aspects to it. First and foremost would be learning has paused in their thought. So, if learning has paused, we have to restart it. When we are restarting it, we need to revise and revisit some of the things that are paused. And to do that, we need to design a particular, our curriculum in a particular fashion, especially the first 3 to 4 months of the next academic year has to be designed that primarily keeping the thought that how the child has paused. If the thought is not kept in the design itself, then the child will not be adequately helped in the next academic year. So we are going to plan accordingly in the next academic year how to deal with this pause of learning in certain aspects of a child.
Yeah, what is the one thing that Corona has taught to all of us, and what do we have to learn from it?
Corona has given a great lesson to the entire humanity, and to the people of this area. So a kind of discipline developed among the people, and the health consciousness, and at the same time nutritious food and financial discipline. All these things actually developed among the people.
So the biggest take or learning from this pandemic situation is sustainability of keeping individual or company or country at least for 6 months, like how you can sustain the status, right? This is the biggest learning. So maybe this will help us in planning your future also, like, right?
Gentlemen, thank you very much for your valuable time. Really appreciate for the inputs that you guys have provided. Hoping for the bright future to the education system in India. Well, that's it from me in this episode. I'll come forward next time with more exciting topics. Thanks for watching me.